I want to welcome everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I am here at the lake in beautiful Grove, Oklahoma. Um, it's been a crazy week. All the plans that we had changed. We didn't go where we thought we were going. My little granddaughter turned 2 on the 15th. It was also Mental Health Awareness Day, which, if you know, that's a huge day in our business, in our heart, in our mission. And Dave and I, when our plans changed, we were like, now what are we going to do? Because we had our bags packed. We were headed to Arizona. We were going to a football game, which Jetty's playing a game right now. Good luck to him and my son Chance, who's coaching. Callie has a bridal shower happening today. That was a surprise bridal shower that I didn't know was going to happen when I booked myself this week. All of her friends at the gym and everyone in her neighborhood in Kansas City. So we got a bridal shower going on with our daughter, and we got a football, a championship game happening this morning that our son is coaching in Arizona. And Dave and I had made a commitment months and months ago that this particular weekend we would be here at the lake. My sister Tracy has 4 girls. They're super busy. They're doing all the things. And I don't get a lot of sister time. I'm super busy. Family's very important to me. But when you come from a big family and everyone's really busy, sometimes it's hard to just carve out time where you say, this is the weekend that we're going to unplug and we're going to do this. Well, I have definitely not unplugged, but they decided to come here so they could have a little fishing trip with their Uncle Dave. And the last 12 or 18 hours has just been such a blessing. I videoed them pulling in the driveway, jumping out of the car, running down to the water. So much joy, so much joy, so much excitement. One of them is 17, starting her senior year. One of them is in the 5th grade. One of them is 7th grade summer. And I was just reflecting and I was thinking, if I could be a light to them, what's the message? And I work really hard on myself. I think all of you know that. I work so hard on myself every day. Drop in the comments if you love personal development. And then be completely honest. If you don't read, if you don't really love going to seminars, taking courses, if that's not you, drop in the comments like, that's just really not me. Some people have hobbies that they do. They love to go to sports. Dave and I used to travel around with NASCAR. We used to love to go to every Kiss concert. We would go backstage, full makeup, even take our kids. Like, there's been chapters of my life where I was like, this is all I want to do. Owning a dance school. Oh my gosh, we got to get to every competition and win. And then there was other times in our life where Dave was a wrestling coach and we were like, we're going to have 12 state champions. All of those are chapters, not a lifetime. But if I could go back to the most important years of my life, first of all, those developmental years, which children don't get to choose. Those developmental years when they're ages 3 to like 9 or 10, they're learning a lot about philosophy. And there's a lot of great parents out there. There's a lot of parents that think they're great. There's a lot of parents that are doing the best they can. But the reality is we're all here for our own soul plan. If you're a believer, you know your life was planned the day that you were born. You do have forklifts. Listen to the geese. You do have forklifts. You do have forks in the road. Maybe sometimes you need a forklift to lift up that heavy load that you can't do yourself. But at the end of the day, we're all on a journey. And all of these young children, man, if they could have grown up when I grew up, right? And when I was growing up, my kids or my mom and dad would say, oh, if you could have grown up when we grow up, like we walked barefoot 10 miles one way, right? Every generation says it. And every generation thinks this new generation is the messed up generation. But I'm going to disagree. And I'm just going to say, it's all about your philosophy. So if I was going to title today, it's probably the most, other than the day I dedicated my life to Christ, which is not for everyone, probably the most important lesson I ever learned in life, I'm going to share with you today. And if I were speaking at a commencement ceremony, which I'm not, and there were people in the seats sitting there saying, what is the most important lesson you've learned? This is what I would say. You have to think about your philosophy in life. And you really have to work harder on yourself than you do on your grades. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on yourself than you do your income, your degree. Because everyone is always striving for the next thing. Oh, we got to get the next thing. We got to get the next thing. We got to get the next thing. But the root of everything you build, the strong foundation, is all dependent on your philosophy. And some people need to get a better philosophy. So when we were walking around last night, it was dark by the time we ended our day. We were going to go on a walk. And then it was like getting dark. We went down and watched the sunset. And my sister Tracy was like, you want to go walk around the neighborhood? And I was like, yes. And I want you to think about this. If you knew that you could 10 times what you earn right now, if you knew you're graduating, you have dreams and goals, and you're working at the city swimming pool, like my little niece, Molly, and you're making $200 a week, but you knew you could make $2,000 a week, maybe even $20,000 a week. Some people make $200,000 a week. What is the difference in the person that makes $200 a week, or the person that makes $2,000 a week, or the person that makes $20,000 a week? What do you think the difference is? Because when I think about it, in leadership, if I'm training our inner circle, like we do here every Wednesday in our company, I would say to them, you attract more because you become more, not because you work harder. You attract more because you enlarge your capacity, your environment, your mentors, your thinking, your vision. But so many kids grow up in a house where they develop the philosophy and the belief of the people around them. And kids don't get to choose how they grow up. Now, I will also say, you can have the most amazing household and grow up like the Brady Bunch and get out of the house, and because of your environment, and maybe you've never had freedom, you've been so sheltered, you had so many rules, now you want to go be a rebel. Some of the biggest hardships, my friends, that have had adult children, some of the biggest hardships I've seen came from some of the most perfect households. So I don't believe God's expecting us to live a perfect life. I believe He is going to take every single one of us, and we are going to have purpose and passion and opportunity based on the hardships that we have. Now, you can have more than you have right now because you become more than you are right now, but you have to work harder on yourself. You have to be willing to do the work and say, how come I'm reluctant to do something when I know I shouldn't be? I know that I need to move my body. I know that I need to exercise. I know that I need to stretch, but it's hard to do the right things. It's not easy. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's simple. We make it hard. Life doesn't have to be that hard. We have to change our philosophy. Nothing is really bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. There is good and bad in the world. There is good and bad in health. There is good and bad in economy. There is good and bad in relationships. But I want you to think about this. If Tom Brady had a football and someone put it under his arm and he said, we're going to go out here and play a football game, and he didn't get hit by the 300-pound person that wanted to obliviate him, if there was never an injury, if there was never a sacking of the quarterback, people would not keep watching the game. If you got a book and it said, this is the philosophy of life, and that book said, everything is okay, and the next chapter said, everything is going to be okay, And the next chapter said, everything is okay. And the fourth chapter was like, everything is good and okay, you would not keep reading the book. And so in life, whether you're a senior in high school, a senior in college, a middle-aged person, or a senior citizen, we all come into life the same way and we all leave the same way. But the spirit, the soul, the plan, you yourself, if you don't develop that, you're going to be mediocre at best, and you're probably going to struggle. Jim Rohn says there's only about 12 nasty people in the whole world. Only about 12 nasty, mean, horrible people in the whole world. They just move around a lot. And I want to tell you, in my early days of getting out of high school, being 19, 20, I think a lot of my success in my philosophy was built on revenge. I had to change my philosophy, but my mentor said it was good for me because I was going to make them eat their words. I couldn't wait to be more than they said that I could be. The counselor was like, you should probably just go to JUCO, maybe beauty school. You miss a lot of school. You're a C student at best. Yeah, I missed a lot of school because my dad abandoned all of the children and I was trying to help my mother, right? Dave's college professor. You're never going to make it. You failed English. We both wrote books. I want you to know nothing any teacher or coach or parent or grandparent or neighbor or Sunday school teacher has ever told you has to be your philosophy. And sometimes we have to get around a new mentor, a new coach, a new neighbor, a new mother and father figure. Always respect your mother and father. But just because they went to law school doesn't mean you have to go to college. Just because they were entrepreneurs and started 15 businesses and had no time at home with their kids doesn't mean you have to go start 15 businesses. You don't have to take on the family curse. You also don't have to follow in the family footsteps because you are your own human being and person. You don't have to go to the same church. You don't have to go be a part of the same alumni. You don't have to go to every family reunion. You know, it's funny because my sister Tracy and I were talking this morning, and her and I do have a little different philosophy on some things. I love my dad, forgive my dad, and we have a close relationship. She is not of that philosophy. We grew up, I mean, think about this. My firstborn is only 10 years younger than my baby sister. So we grew up in a different time with a different philosophy. She's wildly successful in real estate. She's wildly successful as a mother. She is the most popular person in our entire community when it comes to making impact and change. She does everything. The booster club, the parade, the fundraisers. Like, she's superwoman. I used to be like that. Today, that's not my philosophy. You need to get in your own lane. And I own a website and I started a book and I was going to have seminars all over before I started Frequence, which blew up to be a multi-million-dollar brand. I was going to start a movement called FOYOs. And I would say this to every graduating student. I would say it to a kindergartner without the cuss word. But FOYOs stands for focus on your own shit. And if everybody would just focus on their own and quit worrying about everyone else's, they would be so much more successful, so much faster, with so much less drama and so much less health problems and so much more better sleep and stronger relationships and more smiles. You got to focus on your own and quit worrying about everyone else, because this is your movie. It's your solo. It's your dance. Now, none of us are wildly successful without collaboration and other people, but you are not them. You need energy. Energy is everything. You need community. Community is everything. But sometimes we have to think to ourselves, am I growing? Is this enlightening? Am I getting better? Or how do I feel? Am I constantly having to put a lid on it, tiptoe around, not be too much, not do my own thing? That's a messed up philosophy. 5 key ideas I'm going to give you today. I want you to write these down. Every single one of us needs to work on this personal philosophy. It is like a guidance system helping you maneuver through your life. Number 1, the philosophy helps you see the difference in danger and opportunity. You leave high school, you go to college. My son Chance wanted to play baseball. He could have went on the East Coast, played baseball. He was talking to colleges. One day, he got a letter from Coach Schneider, and he went to K-State. And you can't look back and say, I wish I would have played baseball. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. It was part of his journey. Today, I'm so proud of him because of the things that he's accomplished, not with a football under his arm, but the person that he became. It was a chapter of his life, not a lifetime. Here's the philosophy. You got to understand the difference in danger and what looks attractive, but maybe it's not. It's all blue skies over here. Oh, the grass looks so lushy. I think I'm going to go over here. Look at the flawless sands on the beach. If I could just have a life like this life. I will tell you, I'm not a huge fan of college sports. I'm not going to tell you why, but I don't think you are defined by a piece of pigskin or leather with thread in it and how successful you are in that. That is not who you are. If you are Tom Brady, you are not a football. If you are Tony Dungy, you are not a football. Tony Dungy is one of my favorite people to read and learn from, and I'm not a sports fan. I give that book, Quiet Strength, to almost every boy when I get a graduation announcement because I love the message. Here's what I love about Tony Dungy. His philosophy on life. His philosophy of being a good human. And if you've ever read the book, you know he had a lot of haters. He had a lot of mean people lurking around, waiting to watch him fail. He had a lot of really low lows in his life, but the low lows gave him the momentum for the high highs. I wanted him to speak at one of our conventions. Now, if you look around the neighborhood, my sister Tracy and I were walking around yesterday. My nieces were like, do you own that house, Aunt Barb? Do you own that house? And I was like, I own that one. Can we go in that one? We went in that one. They were having a ball. I was showing them all the rental properties we have around our house. And there's one where there's a young couple that just got started having children, and it's affordable for them. A couple thousand a month. They're building a home here, moved here from about 3 hours away. They're in a chapter of their life where they're in their early 20s. There's another one, has all the antiques in it, has all Nana Cindy's memoirs. It's kind of on the corner. You can't really see the lake, but it has a nice backyard. Someone completely different might be attracted to that. One of them would be around 300,000. One of them would be around 500,000. But if you turn the corner and look at some of the neighbors right back here, it's a $2 million, it's a $3 million, it's a $4 or $5 million home. What's the difference in $2,000 a month mortgage and $20,000 a month mortgage? Here's the difference. Their philosophy. Their philosophy. What they believe that they are worth. Your guidance system is going to help you understand the difference in danger and opportunity. And the only way a college athlete, a Tom Brady, an entrepreneur, or a billionaire learns the difference in this is going to serve me and don't do that, that's danger, the thing everyone's afraid of, failure. I failed more by age 23 than most people will fail at age 73. And it served me because I took a risk. I did what scared me. I did the hard things. I got a mentor. I found opportunity. And here's the thing about life. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be joy. There's going to be poverty. There's going to be wealth. There's going to be sickness. There's going to be health. There's going to be life, brand new granddaughter born, 2 years ago, there's going to be death. Nana Cindy passed away just a few months before. There's going to be sobriety, and there's going to be addiction. There's going to be marriage, and there's going to be divorce. There's going to be income going up. There's going to be bankruptcy. There's going to be politics that are negative. There's going to be politics that are positive. That never changes in the world, whether you're 18 or whether you're 88. Opposites in conflict is life. That is always going to be life. Social, family, financial, marriage, business, health. No matter what it is, this is life. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. Nothing is really bad. It's our thinking that makes it so, because that's where the growth happens. The way you understand the dangers is experience. When I go to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I am with Chance in the car, it is scarier than being at Worlds of Fun on the Orient Express. He's a great driver. I do not enjoy it. It is dangerous. My neighbor across the street, his wife passed away recently. She was a good friend of mine. He wants to sell us his motorcycle, his Harley Davidson trike. I have no desire to be on the back of a bike with Dave, driving around the winding roads at the lake, knowing that 1 in 4 is struggling with addiction. Most people are on medication. 90% are looking at their telephones, not the road. And I would just be an open target like Frogger on a bike. That doesn't excite me at all. Some people, that is such a thrill to them. I understand because I've seen things. I understand the difference in danger and safe, but I also understand the difference in opportunity and not having to jump on every opportunity, because I see the dangers in so much hype, in so much churn and burn, in so much following egos and influencers, if you will. Here's what Jim Rohn says, and he's got a pretty good philosophy. When a child goes to school, early training starts. How much they're going to be earning, how much they're going to be worth, how much they need to tolerate, how good they are, how talented they are. And every single day when you're raising up your children, they have 2 voices in their head. There's an angel on one shoulder and there's a devil on the other. And they're both whispering all day long. How does that child make good decisions? They got to learn. They got to grow. They're going to have failure. They're going to have pain. And mine have had a lot. There's the spoiler that spoils all the good, and there's the creator that creates all the good. If you want to be happy in life and you want to be successful in life, I really think it all comes down to your philosophy. In my body right now, there's red blood cells, there's white blood cells. Those little white corpuscles, as they call them, that's the dad. There are ones that are going to fight like a father. If you bring bacteria in here, I will beat your ass. You're not going to live. I am the protector. I am the father, right? And then you got the red blood cells that are going to give life like a mother. Let's just keep on making more of these cells, right? When you think about your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, your income, your influence, your community, I'm leading a team with thousands of personalities. It is like herding cats every day of my life. When you're the CEO, people don't call you and say, oh, everything is wonderful. I mean, they do. But usually I'm solving problems every day, all day long. I have to have the capacity to think clearly, to not react, to solve problems, and to have a really good philosophy. Or my effed up philosophy could ruin the lives of many. One bad decision could impact many, like a ripple effect. So what do I have to do every single day? I have to wake up and work harder on myself than I do on my job. Would it be possible for me to win and become the most incredible company and brand in the world if I hadn't lost? Could you win without losing? I think you have to learn. I think you have to learn. And if you haven't got hit by the 300-pound linebacker carrying the ball, you probably don't have enough compassion yet. The way I developed compassion was getting my butt kicked. So my philosophy is this: there's always going to be good and bad. There's always going to be winds of change. There's always going to be economies that are up and economies that are down. There's always going to be seasons of sickness and seasons of health. There's going to be seasons of success and there's going to be seasons of challenge. There's going to be seasons of everything is growing and there's going to be seasons where people think everything is dying. But your philosophy is either going to feed your focus or it's going to suck the life out of you and everyone around you. So you got to change your philosophy. If you really want to get your dreams, you really want to succeed in life, and you're a new graduate embarking on college, you have to be willing to change the set of your sail. Change the set of your sail. When your intuition tells you, I'm going along with this, don't curse the wind. The wind is not going to stop blowing. The storms are not going to stop coming. One of my favorite gospel songs, The Anchor Holds When the Ship is Tattered. Oh my gosh, look it up. It's by Ray Boltz. It says, the anchor holds when the ship is tattered. And when I think about life, these kids leave. They got to go learn on their own. As a mom, oh my gosh, your heart will break a million times because your DNA is attached to theirs. You feel everything they feel. If they're in trouble, if they're struggling, if they're heartbroken, if they're sick, if they have a child born with a handicap, if they go through a business that fails, if they struggle with addiction and overdose like mine did, don't think I didn't have seasons where everything wasn't just rainbows and unicorns. But I had to know that the anchor would hold when the ship was tattered. And my philosophy had to be, nothing is bad. It is our thinking that makes it so. God has a plan. He's going to take you through this. You have to keep your sail set on what you want, on not what you don't want, on what serves you, not what doesn't serve you, on what you desire, not what you fear, on the people that have what you want and the right environment and the right mentor, not just the person with tons of followers and tons of fame. All these people that everybody was worshiping 5 years ago are not the people that everybody's worshiping today. Everything that glitters is not gold. And the longer people are worshiping things of this world, the longer they are going to struggle. Nothing in this world is ever going to give us satisfaction. It is your spirit that you need to feed. What makes you happy? My son said to me a couple of days ago, Mom, we have to know what we desire. He's like, I'm listening to audio CD 5 and 6 that you and Dad had 20 years ago. Listen to 5 and 6. Don't listen to the rest. Just go straight to 5 and 6. What do you desire? And I said, it has nothing to do with money or success. What I desire and what I work on every day is me. I work harder on the person I am becoming than I do in my business. And I work pretty hard on my business. I had to go get cupping, a massage, a chiropractor, and I had to sit in a little thing that shocked me because 2 days ago, before our Thursday night opportunity Zoom with a doctor, I could not turn my head to the right. He called it Zoom shoulder. He said, how many hours did you sit like this on Zoom? And it was about 10. I didn't even know it was 10. I was so lost in the moment because somebody needed me. I was sewing into people. I was building people. I was serving people. I was doing what I love. And here's the reality. You got to be selfless. You got to take care of yourself too. Yesterday, Dave said, you need some self-care. Unplug, go get your neck fixed. But when you have a burning desire, a dream that is so big, you are so hungry for it that you would sacrifice so much. Nothing will stop you from getting that. And I do have a dream and I do have a desire and I am hungry for it and I am not going to stop. And we will build the number one company in the space and we will change millions of people's lives and we will pay out millions of dollars in commissions to people that bring value, because in this neighborhood, the person living in the $2,000 a month house and the person living in the $20,000 a month house were born the same way. It was their philosophy that made the difference. Whose side are you going to be on? Good health or bad health? Body says, I need a banana. Mind says, I'll take a Budweiser. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a Budweiser, But if you look 20 years ago, I took everyone in our office to see Jim Rohn, including my little sister, Tracy. Believe it or not, the one that's here on the boat with Dave right now, she was his executive assistant. Better than me. She is me in a different body, but Dave needed someone other than his wife. And she helped run a company that we took from 0 to $1 million in 90 days. She was his right-hand girl. I wish she still was, but she found real estate and she fell in love with that. But I will tell you, the philosophy of we have 0, we are going to 1 million in 90 days is a simple decision. You're going to have people on your shoulder saying, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. You're going to have people on your shoulder saying, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can. You're going to have haters that make videos about you and talk about you and text about you and gossip about you. Those people will never have shit. Just let them be the way they are. Mediocre at best. Nobody tearing down someone else is ever going to have long-term success. Might be like a flash in a pan. They might have it for a minute, but the people in 1996 that made flyers about us and talked about us and warned everybody about us, and I mean, they were literally the reason why I became rich beyond my wildest dreams, is because I wasn't going to let them see me fail. I wasn't giving up. Come hell or high water, and let me tell you, there was some months of hell. I was going to make it. But those haters are what will give you the strength. I know you guys are a little confused because I'm talking about Bible verses, and then I'm saying focus on your own shit, and then I'm saying the word hell. Like, let's just be authentic and real. I'm at a chapter in my life where I'm not going to fit in a box to make everyone think that I'm this prim and proper and perfect CEO, because I'm going to show up like this every single day. This is real life. There are people right now fighting battles that none of you even know about, and they're afraid to say, I have a child that's struggling. They're afraid to say that they are in a bankruptcy situation. They're afraid to say they're behind on their mortgage. They can't pay their rent in the local mall. They can't keep paying their employees, and they don't want to let them down. They're not sleeping with their husband because there's so much adversity in the home. There's so much distance. It's like having a roommate, because they lost the sight of their dream. They lost the philosophy that we can have and be and do anything we dream of. And they bought into someone else's message that life is hard. Times are tough. Nobody's going to make it. None of us are getting out of here alive. I know that. But while we're here, we could make it great. We could absolutely make it great. And if there was ever a time in America that you could make it great, not because of the president, because of your own philosophy, you could make it great today. There are people, let me ask you a question. I'm sitting here at the lake and I make a decision. How much land here could I buy? What is the rule in America? How many lots I could own? Is there a rule how much I could own? Everyone outside of America is looking at us. That is the land of the free. Go there. You can buy land, lots of land. There's no limit. Yet the people that are here that don't choose to do that, the people from afar that don't have the freedom that we have, are like, that's a screwed up philosophy. Why would they not? Why would they not work hard, make a life, build a legacy, change the world? Why would they not? They can. Man, how we wish we could do that. Here, we take it for granted. We take it for granted. We set limits. I was going to tell you 5, and I've only told you 1. Philosophy. Today is a good day to get better. Your attitude about the past can't be bad. Your attitude about the past can't be bad. Everything that happened to this day was supposed to happen. And true forgiveness in my heart comes from saying the past couldn't have been any different than it absolutely was. Every single bit of it is serving me. It made me passionate, purposeful, focused. It made me aware. I know the difference in danger and safety. If I go to Scottsdale, I don't stand on the curb when the cars are roaring by like I did the other day. And my son is like, Mom, get out of the street. These people don't look. When the light turns green, they go. Here in Scottsdale, he said, when the light turns green, you don't stand there and just go. You look around, because there's a lot of people that don't know there's a red light. They will run right over you. You have to be aware of that. When I'm in Kansas, there are no cars. I don't even have to look at the light. I can just go whenever I want. You also have to have an attitude not just about your past being perfect, but your future and the vision that you have, what's going to happen being good. not gloom and doom. Don't give up. Revenge was first on my list when I was 23 because I wanted to show all my haters that I was going to make it, and I did. But today, I don't think about my haters. I don't even need to show them. I don't need fancy things. I don't need to pull up with a name brand watch on, even though I have one. I have Walmart Bangles on today. I mean, I don't have to have the nicest boat on the lake. I don't have to live in the nicest mansion. Here's something that I would tell you if you're young and starting out. Live below your means. The wealthy become wealthy looking broke. The broke go bankrupt trying to look wealthy. Quit trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are not you. Do you know what's better than having all the nice things, having peace of mind and being able to sleep at night and racks stacked under your mattress for a rainy day? You don't need Prada when you're young. You need purpose. You need passion. You need to develop through the pain, keep pushing, and work harder on yourself than you do on your job, your degree, your reputation, your followers, your likes, all of that. It's a facade. It can be gone just like that. I have friends that lost their Facebook page this week, and it was like, oh my gosh, everything was reliant on Facebook. It made me want to post, hey, if they decide to take down every No Guts, No Story I've ever done, please go put your email in at pitcockmarketing.com. Literally, like that was my thought. That way, if we ever lose touch and they cancel me, I could still send you an encouraging email. And then I was like, well, most people are probably in my company and I have their email. But my own neighbor asked me 2 days ago, what is it that you guys do? Do you have retail stores? And I'm like, how could anybody watching me? How many of you are watching me right now and you don't even know what I do? I don't even talk about my success because my success is not as important as you having success. My success is not as important as me building other people. I remember when I was young, I couldn't wait to drive my new car. In fact, I thought I was going to get an airplane. And the people that hated on me, I was going to land that baby on a runway, put some lights on their driveway and let them know it was coming in. I couldn't wait to hire them to fix my car and go buy a Maserati. I wanted them to have to work for me. I literally was so full of low vibration, low self-confidence. I couldn't wait to show them. And today I'm so confident. I wish them the best. I pray for them. I'm grateful for them. Should send them a thank you card. Without them, I never would have got to where I am today. So number one was your philosophy. Change your philosophy. Be willing to change your philosophy. Number two, have a good attitude about your past with no regrets. Have an optimistic attitude about your future, your skills, your education, your experience. If you hit a little milestone, this is why goals are so important. Check it off and freaking celebrate it. There were times that I hit 1 million a month in business with the wrong people, and we weren't popping champagne. They wanted to argue. I had to change my philosophy. This is not where I need to be. This is not in alignment with who I am. It was hard. It sucked. I had to sacrifice a lot. But to continue down that road of complete dysfunction was not going to serve me. I had to get in alignment with the people that were in my energy. Energy matches energy. You want to be successful, you got to be attractive. That's how you attract people to you. What is attractive? A high vibration. Not talking about the past, not shaming, not blaming, not, oh, if they wouldn't have done that to me, I wouldn't be here. If my dad wouldn't have left, I could have went to college. If my boyfriend wouldn't have cheated, I wouldn't have had a low self-esteem. No, I didn't sign up for that class, Jim Rohn would say. You can shift your sail. You know, there are pelicans that come here to the lake on their way when they fly south for the winter. They literally have a pelican weekend here. And there's an island out there. You can kind of see it. It's white. Do you see that little white thing in the middle of the lake? Instagram can't see it, but you see the little white thing clear out there, right under the trees. You see a little white line coming from the low-hanging branch. That's an island covered in pelican poop. You get close to it, you can't even stand to smell it. For some reason, they all land at Grand Lake on their way when they're going south. And birds know to migrate. Squirrels here like crazy. They know to gather nuts. Everything in the world, it is born knowing exactly what it has to do. Monkeys have to mate, right? Squirrels gather nuts. Birds, they fly a certain way, but not humans. We can change our perspective. We don't have to do what everyone else is doing. I think about the failures that I've had. Embrace failure, learn from it, use it as wisdom, be authentic, quit caring about what everyone else thinks and worrying that you're going to mess up. That is fear. Get back to saying, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take a risk that scares me. I'm going to go do it anyway, even if it's messy. I remember there was a time in my life when Dave and I really realized that our past was going to serve us. When his brother committed suicide, I had a hard time finding the good. The first time we stood on stage and told the story, I knew we were going to make more impact when it came to mental health than we ever made talking about getting rich in network marketing. We switched our focus from the money that you could make to the time that you could have with the people that you love. We changed our philosophy. We 10 times our business. How do you 10x your income from the $2,000 a month house to the $20,000 a month house? How? The guy out here on the corner, they own majority of McDonald's. The guy next to him invented a fishing lure that's literally the most popular fishing lure. They also lost a son to overdose. No amount of money that they make from the fishing lure will ever change the pain in their life and the loss. But it's not about the success. It's the person that they have become, because the only reason we're on this planet is to serve and witness and share our testimony and to make impact. And at the end of this life, that's the only thing people remember. Number 3, how you feel about everybody. Egos and greed have sabotaged every good thing I've ever built, and I don't even tolerate it in my life anymore. Egos and greed do not fit in alignment with Barb Pitcock. I'm not having it. I'm not entertaining it. I'm not celebrating it. I do work with a lot of personalities, and whether it's doctors or top leaders or manufacturers or investors. Some investor came to me this year when we were just doing a little over $1 million a month, but he could see the vision. What if it was 50 million? Would you sell it just 50% shares? Absolutely not. Get away from me. Don't ever talk to me again. 50 million is not going to buy my soul. It ain't going to do it, because I would have 50 million sitting in an empty house wondering what I was going to do with the rest of my life. There was a time, 20-year-old, 23-year-old Barb, 50 million? We could have a crib. We could have the mechanical bull. We could have the vinyl fence. We could have the big dock and the yacht and all the people, and we could be bougie. I'm a lot older and wiser than that today. Money only amplifies what you already are. Do not sell your soul for the blue skies, for the sandy beaches, for the greener grass. Everything that glitters is not gold. There was a time the guy holding up Vince Lombardi in every picture purchased the company that I was the top earner on, and he wined and dined us and took us to the 50-yard line and the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady's first debut, the year of 9/11. I was there at the Super Bowl, 50-yard line, backstage pass, in the elevator with Barry Manilow. It was rainbows and unicorns until it wasn't. And 2 months later, all the checks were bouncing and the company was gone. There are leaders right now celebrating on a beach in Mexico that have no idea that their company owner is looking for a buyer. There are big corporations taking all of their people to Disney, and they're whining and dining them all. And there is an investor somewhere saying, how are we going to pay for this trip? Should we close it down? I get calls every single day from people in companies where there is not alignment with the mission. It is all transactional, and it's about the commission. I've been a part of that before. It didn't serve me. It didn't serve me. So how I feel about everybody, I have to allow them to be how they are. I have to love them right where they are. They have to learn the same lessons that I had to learn. I was the distributor in that company that had to learn the lesson what to look for. And I don't look for pie in the sky and blue skies and plushy grass and sandy beaches anymore. I look at what is in alignment with who I am and where I want to be. Some people, scared money doesn't make money. Some people will take any deal, any job, do whatever they got to do, sell a pharmaceutical they know is killing people, get in a company they know doesn't have a good product, take a promotion knowing that everything in the office is about affairs and addiction and screwing people. Like, you see it in the corporate world when you've been behind the scenes. I've been in the bathroom with these people. I've been at the table. Who sits at your table is so important, because if you're not in alignment, if it doesn't fit your core values, and for me, it's family, it's fun, it's love, it's experiences, it's forgiveness, it's faith, it's a future that will make me laugh and smile and want to take a Kodak moment picture, not say, oh my God, I don't want to go on a trip with these people. I've had money and I've not had money. It's easier when you can pay your bills, but it's not always happier. You got to get in alignment with what you believe in. And that number 3, how you feel about everyone. You can't be jealous of people that have more than you. You think I'm jealous of the guy in the $20 million house around the corner? No. Toby Keith lived right across the lake at Shangri-La. Toby Keith was on his own journey. He had a lot of success. He had a lot of hardship. What if I was his neighbor and every day I was trying to be like Toby Keith? Can you even imagine? I can't even imagine. I can't try to keep up with someone here or there. I have to step into alignment and be who I am. I'm going to ask you to do this and celebrate everybody, even the people more successful than you, because the community here is made up of a Toby Keith, a guy that owns McDonald's, a guy that invented the fishing lure, and the young couple with the little kids that bring the laughter to the neighborhood. None of us would be here today without everybody. And it takes everybody, the good and the bad, the sober and the addict, the broke and the wealthy, the Christian and the atheist. It takes the Mormon and the Jew. It takes everyone. It takes the Japanese, the white, the black, the Chinese. It takes everybody to make America. Just like your community, your school, your college, your family. You got to embrace all the differences and quit judging. Quit thinking that you're better, and quit being threatened by someone else having success. My sister and I were talking about this yesterday. I say, what changed? She said, we became successful. Sometimes when you become successful, people can't handle that. They want you to do good, just not that good. I'm going to tell you, don't dim your light for anyone. Don't put a lid on it. If people think you're extra, just know the difference in ordinary and extraordinary is the extra. You go be you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Quit trying to please your family, your teacher, your preacher, your coach, your neighbor, what everyone else always told you had to do. If you're 18 years old, you are an adult. Think for yourself. Never do something the rest of your life that you don't wake up loving. Make a decision today. I'm going to do what serves me. I'm not going to wait for everyone else's applause. I'm going to do what I love, no matter what people expected me to do. And I'm going to find happiness. And lastly, the fourth thing, be authentic. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Your story is your superpower. Be authentic. Live out loud. Tell the whole world. Be a witness. Let your test be your testimony. Let your mess be your message. If God allowed it to happen to you, if he can bring you to it, he can bring you through it. And it happened for good. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. And we have to get in alignment with who our soul says we are. That inner child that was you when you were little, before all the trauma, before all the abuse, before all of the addiction, before someone divorced you or fired you or stole from you or made a viral video about you. I think back to the day that happened to my daughter. I never looked at Brooklyn and said, "What's wrong with you?" I looked at Brooklyn and said, "What happened to you? And how can I help you get back to that inner self that was confident, that was so full of love, that wanted to help everybody?" She was the favorite cousin. She was the favorite aunt, right? She was that one always creating the gift basket, hosting the party, getting all the decorations. She's still the best gift giver. Her heart is bigger than anyone else in our family. And I want to tell you guys something. If she could see herself the way that I see her, her abundance, happiness, and success would be bigger than all of us. How you see yourself is everything. You've got to look in the mirror and say, "I am enough. I can do and be and have anything that I dream of. I don't have to do anything to make everyone else happy. I can soar with my talents, my gifts, my story, my message, my focus, my desires." And when you figure out what it is that you really want, it may have nothing to do with money. Go do that and do it every single day. So my neighbor that invented the fishing lure has decided to mow. I am going to end this broadcast, and I hope that today you are inspired to be in alignment with who you truly are. If you see people around you, it takes everybody, but don't celebrate behavior that is not serving you. Don't get in with the gossip when it happens. Don't recognize division, people not including you because of who you are or where you are or your color or your language that you speak or where you came from. Know that you are enough. I think when I was a little girl, the first song my grandma ever taught me, "Jesus loves the little children, all the little children in the world." And no matter how bad it was when I was growing up, it's so good today because I found a mentor. I figured out an environment. The strongest lesson I was ever taught: work harder on yourself than you ever work on your business, your income, or your status. And because of that, I was able to enlarge my capacity and achieve all of my dreams and goals. And that's really what I desire for all of you. You don't have to be in my company. You don't have to be in my industry. My little sister is crushing it. She's not a network marketer. I celebrate her every day. I hope her pool is nicer than mine. I hope her backyard is prettier than mine. There's enough for all of us. And that's the way you have to feel: confident, aligned, working on yourself, growing, and knowing that you can be and do and have every single thing you desire if you will. Problem is, most people won't. Think about that. Have a good day, everyone.